From the moment you take your first breath, you've got this silent partner, the law. It's following you through everything. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the secret blueprint it has for your life.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Your first breath, your family, your relationships, the law has a hand in all of it, shaping things in ways you probably don't even notice. So today, we're going to dive deep into that hidden story, the legal journey of a person, all based on the Philippine Civil Code. We'll start with what it even means to be a person, legally speaking, and then get into the rules that govern our closest bonds.
All right, so where does this whole legal story kick off? Well, it starts with the law's very first hello, birth. But here's the thing, and this is super important. In the eyes of the law, just being born isn't the whole story. There's a really crucial distinction to make.
Okay, first up, we've got this thing called juridical capacity. Now, what is that? It's basically your legal starting point. It's the simple fitness to be able to have rights and obligations. The best way to think about it, it's like an empty box or a container that you're given at birth. You're born with it, it's just there, and you have it until the day you die.
But just having the box is one thing. Being able to actually put things in it, that's totally different. And that's where the second concept, capacity to act, comes into play. This is the real power to do stuff that has legal consequences. Signing a contract, buying a car, that kind of thing. And unlike that box you're born with, this is something you gain over time, and you can even lose it.
So let's see how these two work together. Check this out. A newborn baby could, technically, inherit a massive fortune. That's their juridical capacity at work. That box can hold the inheritance. But can that baby turn around and sell the mansion? No way. Why not? Because they don't have the capacity to act yet. See the difference? One is just having the potential. The other is having the power to actually use it. All right, so once you've got that capacity to act, you can start making some pretty big life decisions with legal weight. And one of the biggest is getting married. Now, the law has a very particular take on marriage. It's not just some private deal between two people. No, it's seen as a special contract, a foundational social institution. So for a marriage to actually be valid in the eyes of the law, you need two things that are absolutely essential. Get this. First, you need legal capacity. That means both of you have to be at least 18 and, not legally disqualified for some reason. And second, and this one is a huge deal, you both have to freely give your consent right there in front of the person marrying you. If you're missing either one of those, the law's perspective is simple. There was no marriage, period.
But wait, there's more. Just having those two essential things isn't quite enough. The law also requires 3 formal steps. Think of these as the paperwork and the public side of things. You need someone with the authority to actually perform the marriage. You need a valid marriage license, with a few exceptions, and you need a real, honest-to-goodness marriage ceremony. It's like the official stamp that proves the deal was made.
Okay, so what happens when that special contract starts to fall apart? When a marriage breaks down, the law has very specific and often kind of confusing ways to deal with it. It's not all the same, and the differences are absolutely critical.
Let's break this down. First, you have a void marriage. Think of this as a marriage that was never real to begin with. From day one, legally, it just didn't exist. Then you have a voidable marriage. This one was real and valid until a court annuls it because of some kind of defect. And finally, there's legal separation. This is the one that trips people up. The marriage itself doesn't end. The couple can live apart, but they are still legally married. They can't remarry anyone else.
Now, you've probably heard of this one specific ground for avoided marriage in the Philippines, psychological incapacity. And it's really important to get this right. This is not about just not getting along or fighting a lot or someone being lazy. The law is talking about a serious, genuine psychological condition that was there at the time of the wedding. A condition so severe that it literally makes a person incapable of understanding their most basic marital duties. Mutual love, respect, fidelity, all of it.
So, from the contract of marriage, the next logical step in our legal journey is the connection between parents and children. And, you guessed it, the law has a whole lot to say about this relationship, which it calls filiation.
Okay, and this right here is a massive principle in family law, the presumption of legitimacy. Basically, the law's default setting is this. If a child is conceived or born while a couple is married, that child is automatically considered the legitimate child of both spouses. And let me tell you, this isn't just a suggestion. It's one of the strongest assumptions in the entire legal system, and it is incredibly difficult to prove otherwise.
So, being a legal parent, what does that actually mean? Well, it comes with something called parental authority. But don't just think of this as power or control. It's really a bundle of rights, and even more importantly, a bundle of duties. The law actually requires parents to keep their kids with them, to support them, educate them, and give them love and affection. It's basically the law's official job description for being a parent.
All right, for our last section, let's pull the camera way back. Let's zoom out from just family and look at some of the huge, overarching principles that apply to all laws in the Philippines. Think of this as the operating system for the entire legal code.
You've probably heard this one, even if you don't know the Latin. Ignorantia legis non excusat. It means ignorance of the law excuses no one. And it's a bedrock principle. You simply cannot go to court and say, oops, I didn't know that was illegal. It just won't fly. Why? Because the system works on the assumption that everyone is expected to know the law.
Here's another big one. Laws are generally prospective. The fancy Latin for it is lex prospicit, non respicit, which just means laws look forward, not backward. Think about it. A new law passed today usually only applies to things that happen from today onwards. It can't act like a time machine, go into the past, and change the legal status of something you did yesterday.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? Like with most legal rules, there are exceptions. A law can sometimes reach back in time and apply retroactively. This only happens in very specific situations, like if the law itself explicitly says it can, or, and this is a big one, if it's a criminal law that would actually help the accused person. So these exceptions aren't random. They're there for a reason, usually to promote fairness and justice. So there you have it. From the moment we're legally considered a person to the families we create, the Civil Code lays out this incredibly detailed map for our lives. And going through this journey really brings up a final massive question for all of us. As our society changes, as our ideas about family continue to grow and evolve, how do we update this map? How should these fundamental rules change for the generations that come after us?